Hello, my name is Ali Ahmari. I'm a resident corporate lawyer in the city of Toronto. Today we are here with Mr. Ben Azimi. He is a personal injury and immigration litigation lawyer in the city of Toronto. Mr. Azimi has extensive experience in handling judicial review, leave applications, and in challenging refusal immigration decisions. So Azimi, thanks so much for granting your time with us. I appreciate that. We're going to ask a few questions with respect to judicial review today. Let's say someone has applied for temporary visa. Could it be the study permit or work permit? And they get their refusal. What are their options in dealing with this refusal decision?
Okay, so there's ultimately two options. One, to apply again with updated documents, or to appeal the decision to the federal court.
Okay, when you say appeal, what do you mean exactly? What that entails?
So appealing is we would file an application for leave and judicial review in the federal court to challenge the visa officer's decision and argue that the decision should be set aside because it was incorrect and unreasonable.
So what is the process though? Are you going to review the file before you submit it, or what that process entails?
So if someone contacts my office and says, I got a refusal, the first thing we do is we tell them, please send us your files so we can review them. Because we need to know what documents were submitted to the CIC and whether there's any deficiency in the documents. Because ultimately what happens is if someone applies to the federal court and goes through the judicial review process and is successful, either if the lawyers for the immigration department settle with you, or if you're successful at a judicial review hearing, what happens is the visa officer's decision is set aside, and now the application is now sent to another visa officer for it to be redetermined. And that visa officer will then make a decision. However, if your application or documents were deficient from the beginning, despite the fact that you got a judicial review hearing and you were successful, that second visa officer could actually refuse your file. So it's very important that the documents are reviewed from the outset prior to any judicial review application being filed, because you're not able to submit fresh documents. You're not able to submit new documents. You have to go based on the documents that were on behalf of the, before the visa officer when you submitted the application.
You touch on the very important point, because I've seen over and over, especially I've seen advertisements on Instagram and Facebook that people basically advertise for requesting for the file, and by submitting everything would be nice and rosy, they're going to get a favorable decision. Can you just expand on the process of the judicial review in details? What that entails, how you go about it?
So how it works is once we file what's called an application for leave and judicial review, if there are written reasons that were given, if the tribunal has given written reasons, then we can use those written reasons to prepare what's called a memorandum of argument. However, if there are no written reasons, then we would have to wait for the written reasons to be sent to us, and then we would review them, and then what we would do is file a memorandum of argument and an application record. And then we would have to wait to see whether the responding party, which is the Minister of Citizenship and Immigration, is going to challenge the case or whether they're going to settle. If they do challenge it, then they would provide us with a responding memorandum of argument. Then we would do a reply and then wait to see if the case is going to go into a hearing or not. But the key point here is, it's called the application for leave and judicial review. So that means the federal court has to first grant you leave, and then your case will be heard. And what that really means is, leave really means permission. And the judge, the federal court judge reviewing the case, has to determine whether you have an arguable case, whether your case has merit for it to be heard.
I'm sure a lot of people want to know what are the likelihood of success by going through this process?
So, I mean, anyone who's done advocacy and litigation in general will tell you that when you go to the courts, the lawyers for the parties are not the decision makers. The trier of fact is the federal court judge. So anyone who's giving you guarantees is, I don't know what they're doing. So there is no guarantees. There's only 50-50 chance. You're either successful or you're not. But again, what I want to point out is, and I think as you mentioned, rumors, there is this rumor out there that if you go to federal court, your application is granted. That is not what happens. Your application, if it's refused, is not granted by the federal court. When you go through the judicial review process, the file if you are successful in judicial review, is sent to a different visa officer, and that visa officer will then make a decision. You don't get your application granted if you go through the judicial review process.
Perfect. So there's just a rumor. There's no 100% guarantee for it. Perfect. Let's say you went through the judicial review and unfortunately you don't get a favorable decision. What will be the next step?
If you don't get a favorable decision, your only option is to apply again,
right,
and try again with updated documents.
I see. Okay, perfect. Let's switch over to another set of questions. Let's say someone has applied for a PR card or citizenship card, and they haven't got their decision. You know, some people, they want to leave the country, or they just want to use it as a piece of ID, and they haven't got a decision with respect to their PR or the citizenship card. What options do they have in dealing with this scenario?
So there's a legal term by the name of mandamus.
Mandamus, okay.
Mandamus is another application for leave in judicial review that you can proceed through the federal court.
Okay.
And the test is kind of a complicated test, and I don't think we have enough time to go through it. But anyone who's interested in through the mandamus, then they should contact an immigration lawyer.
Right.
However, ultimately, what it is that it, if you do file a mandamus application and you do go to federal court, you're asking the federal court to grant an order which would require the Minister of Citizenship and Immigration to do something.
Okay.
That something could be, let's say, for example, in 2018, you applied to sponsor somebody, and your sponsorship application is still being processed, nothing's been done, and you look at the CIC website, and let's just say the processing time says 25 months. Now you're in 2018, 25 months has actually passed, and nothing has been done. And you can use mandamus applications to kind of get the federal court to make an order for the Minister of Citizenship and Immigration to make a decision. Either they're going to have to reject it or they're going to accept the application.
Okay. So mandamus is not limited to certain applications such as PR or citizenship card then?
No, it's every application is different.
Right.
It would depend on the case. But it's not only PR and citizenship. We've done it on sponsorship applications as well.
Perfect. In terms of the processing time, how is that calculated usually?
So this is a tricky question. The reason is, let's say, for example, someone's made applied for a PR in 2018.
Okay.
And then in 2021, the CIC sent them a letter requesting additional documents.
Okay.
And then they come to our office and say, I want to do a mandamus application. I applied since 2018. Nothing's happened. Then we say, well, you received correspondence in 2021
I see.
that says we need additional documents to process your application.
Okay.
So we then calculate not from 2018, but from 2021, which is the last correspondence requesting additional documents to process your application. So the processing time can be tricky. Only through reviewing the file and seeing the communications between the applicant and the CIC can be determined whether it's a suitable case for mandamus or not.
So there's a lot of things you have to consider in between since the time the application has been originally submitted then.
That is correct.
Perfect. If you can just quickly touch upon the likelihood of success in mandamus applications.
Yeah, again, likelihood of success is 50-50. Again, each case is different.
Right.
Some cases have a strong likelihood of succeeding.
Right.
Some cases don't. But again, going to court, there's a risk to it, and the risk is you could lose or you could win.
Right.
And if you have, an immigration lawyer that can review your file,
sure,
and give you, proper advice, that's
it.
extremely important.
Absolutely. That's perfect. Thank you so much, and that's all the time that we have. You can have my information and Mr. Azimi's information at the bottom of the video. You can contact him directly. And thank you so very much for being with us for the video, and please follow us for the future videos. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye. Thank you so much again. I appreciate it.
Do you know of a reputable lawyer or legal advisor for what purposes you need one for? These are some of the questions people ask every day simply because people confront various legal challenges, and for solving them, it is crucial to consult with a reputable legal advisor. They can guide you through your legal challenges and advise you to the best course of action. The good news is there's an innovative online platform called Facelaw to help you find the most suitable lawyers, paralegals, and immigration consultants to meet your legal needs. Facelaw has various social media platforms, including a magazine, a website, and an app which can assist you in your search for a legal advisor. Are you planning to immigrate? Do you want to establish a business? Have you recently been in a car accident? Do you want to draft a will? Do you need a lawyer for the sale or purchase of your property? Take a look at Facelaw's online legal directory of lawyers, paralegals, and immigration consultants today. www.facelaw.ca